А что, если ловить на улице людей и расспрашивать их о том, как прошло их детство, подумала я и пошла отлавливать людей на улице.
Во-первых, мне нужно найти людей, которые согласятся. Во-вторых, я хочу, чтобы этот человек был один, а не двое или не трое. И, что немаловажно, желательно говорил все-таки на русском, потому что сербский, черногорский я не знаю.
Кто-то же меня, конечно, сразу же завернул с этой идеей.
Если вдруг вы хотите буквально 15 минут... Первый отказ получен.
Но кое-кто согласился.
Oh, really?
Yeah. А что из этого получилось, смотрите в видео.
Из детского масштаба.
So, what's your name?
So, my name is Aneta.
Oh, my name is Katya.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And you told me you're here with your family.
Correct.
And where are you from? I mean, in general, maybe what's your mother country?
Yeah, sure. So I was born in Lithuania, and but I lived most of my life in London. That's when I moved at a young age to study. And the idea was just to move to London to finish school and then come back. But it turned out I stayed there for over 10 years, like from one school to university. Yeah, and currently I'm traveling around the world. I'm looking for where is my next destination to move to. But I came here for Christmas with my mom and her boyfriend and our dog.
Oh.
So it was a really lovely Christmas, really lovely New Year. Yes, they are kind of living here for now. Yeah, and I'm back and forth from like different countries visiting them.
What maybe memories or recalls do you have about your childhood? Maybe anything that, oh, my childhood is, and maybe some stories.
Yeah, great question. I think childhood is in general very important to reflect upon as you age. I think my childhood was good crazy. It was good crazy.
What does it mean?
Good crazy means I still grew up with no phone. And now that I look back at it, I had a lot of crazy moments and a lot of crazy experiences because I had no phone. So I would be like, my friends and I would go into the woods and, like, you know, build a little, I don't know, house by ourselves as 7-year-olds, you know. So it was a lot of outdoor activities, and it was a lot of interaction with other kids and other friends, like from your own kind of town. And also crazy because I did always go for the dangerous things that my parents, you know, weren't really fond of me doing. Yeah.
So as an example, have you ever been caught for anything crazy stuff? I don't know, drinking alcohol, being in some building you shouldn't be there.
Oh, hell yeah. Many times. Rules are there to be broken, that's first of all. So yes to all of the above.
What did they say to you about it?
You know, it depends on the situation. But I remember there was a house party once. I think we were about, I don't know, 12 years old. And there was a party at someone's house, and we did get some alcohol, and we drank some alcohol, but every kid was about to be picked up by their parent. So we as 12-year-olds, we're all drunk in the living room, and then someone comes up with an idea, says, oh, you know what we should all do before parents come? We should all drink like a liter of kefir. You know, like old fermented milk, kefir, to sober up, apparently. It's not true. I mean, maybe. So the whole group drank, I don't know, maybe 5 liters of like fermented milk to make us like sober up, which it didn't work. We just ended up puking. Yeah, it was horrible, but that was one of the like fun stories. Yeah.
Talking about your school time, do you remember some teachers impressed you most, or maybe it could be in both ways, in good one or bad one?
Yeah, so I think I remember most of like the positive things, I guess. I don't tend to dwell upon bad things the teachers did or said. I mostly remember the positive ones. Yeah, I mean, the teachers can have really a lot of power to encourage you. So I think I was greatly encouraged by my English teacher throughout my whole education. And that, you know, kind of motivated me to go study in London. Because I was confident that my English is good enough, even though it wasn't. I learned. So I think my English teachers are someone I'm most grateful for.
In London, when you moved to a new place for you, what maybe differences did you discover about your school time, between your school time and students around you? Did you discuss some differences?
You can mean in between my education in London and in Lithuania?
Yeah.
Like my year?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, first of all, everything was in English. So even though I did maths and chemistry and physics and biology, I expected those words to not have to explain a math equation in English. So that's something we never had to do back home in Lithuania. So that was a new challenging thing. Otherwise, we had more options for like languages to study in my college in London than my peers did in Vilnius. Yeah.
What's the main difference have you explored? Maybe in the way of thinking, or maybe in the way of early years in kindergarten, school, and so on.
Yeah. So okay, I understand. It was it was different. It's hard to put into words how, but I think self-expression is much more allowed or like invited and celebrated in London than it was in Vilnius. Creativity as well. Creativity is nurtured, like cared for a lot more. Like creative projects, creative assignments. In Lithuania, from what I understand, is very much based on your score and how well you do in your exam, and less so much about other activities that you do. For example, your hobbies, what do you do to nurture your creativity, your sports. It's a bit less so. In the UK, my experience was that it's very much all-rounded. The colleges offer a lot of outside kind of education activities to do, fund it, sponsor it, encourage it. Yeah, so maybe a bit kind of broader way to self-express, I guess.
I heard it could be a bit difficult to build a friendship with English people because I don't know if it's true or not, but it sounds like they're quite closed and keep distance between.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. So there is a saying. So you know how Americans are genuinely the odd way around. They're like the friendliest people ever. They're like your best friend for 5 minutes. So English people are the odd way around. They'll be very reserved and colder. But once you get to know them, they're very friendly. So there's a comparison of Americans as being peaches. Peach, very soft outside but very hard inside. So English people are known as coconuts. Coconut is like really hard to like get into, but as you get inside, they're like really lovely and so yes. Although I must say it is possible. So I think I wouldn't say a mistake, but a choice a lot of students make when they move to the UK is they hang around with people of their kind. So if I'm Lithuanian and I move to London, I will be a lot of people hang out with mostly Lithuanians or Poles or Russians, like people who speak their language. I was very clear that I will hang out only with people who are not my kind. Because then you'll push your boundaries, you'll understand more perspectives, and eventually you will be more open-minded than as if you just stayed with your group.
What kind of stereotypes were broken by this attitude to life? I mean, maybe you used to think that way, but it discovered it's absolutely unrealistic or something like that.
Like what stereotypes have been broken?
Yeah.
It's really easy to earn money in London and everyone earns a lot. That's not true. You really have to, if at one point it was not true, but it's the idea that people see London as like, let's go there, we'll have great jobs, send money back home. That's not true. London is not that much paid, and you really have to, just do a great work, to earn well. But it's not a city that you go to earn money. Let's see, that's your end goal.
And about people, I mean, maybe some people used to think they should be like that, but it ended up understanding it's absolutely not true. I mean, about more personal things.
Mm-hmm. So I don't really understand the question.
I mean, about stereotypes, not about the city itself, but about people around. You told me before that you was aimed to not build new boundaries, but to expand them, to get more perspectives. And I mean, doing that way, have you found something you couldn't imagine it could happen to you, or could happen to people, or people are different than you used to think about them?
Yeah, so I understand. What I have learned is that we are all, as human species, very similar. We all have the same struggles. We all have to feed our children. We all have to, we all strive for a better life. We all strive to learn something about ourselves. And the more people from different backgrounds you meet, is you understand we're actually very similar. We have like the same issues, like we both have a headache, or like we both, need, I don't know, to do our homework or buy new clothes, or, call our mom. We're all much more alike than we think we are. And I think there's this social construct in our heads that one nation is better than the other, or like neighboring countries usually fight. And I think it's very funny how we try to be so different from like our neighbors, while we're just one humankind and we're all actually very much alike. And I'm always excited to meet new cultures and new people and learn new ways to live and new perspectives, because our perspective is not the only one.
How many countries have you been to?
Many. So I lived in China for a while, and then I did all the exploration around in Southeast Asia. I would say maybe 40-ish.
Oh,
quite a few.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
And you impressed me a lot. Before we started to record this part, you told me you speak
6.
That's quite close languages.
Soon 8, maybe. Yeah.
So let's list it.
So
English, as we can understand.
English is quite fluent. So my native languages are Polish, Lithuanian, Russian. Then I picked up English, Spanish, and Mandarin Chinese as I was studying.
And talking about Russian, would you mind to switch a bit in Russian?
We can, although it's very rusty.
I don't know, just to try though.
Yeah?
And then we come back to English.
Yeah.
А когда ты учила русский язык?
Меня бабушка научила читать по-русски, говорить, и с 5 лет до 8 лет мы с бабушкой как жили, мы с ней разговаривали по-русски, но потом этот язык как бы остался.
У тебя не слышится акцент.
Реально? Спасибо.
Может быть, очень прям вот супер легкий, прям вот такой, что я бы не обратила внимания.
Интересно. Я обычно разговариваю, общаюсь по-английски. Это мой как бы язык, где мне удобно.
На котором ты думаешь?
Да.
It's so strange to start with English, and then it looks like we have planned this way to change languages. I've got a bit of confused about it. Maybe in your childhood you had you were asking some awkward questions. I mean, do you have a boyfriend? What are you going to do for a living when you became adult?
To whom? To people around me?
Yeah. Usually children are asked.
Who do you would like to be when you grow up? Yeah, of course.
What did you answer for that?
Well, at the time, it was either an astronaut or an actor.
Oh.
It was one or the other, because those were really the only 2 jobs I was interested in. Because an actor is always a fun role, because you see it on the TV. An astronaut is something else, very exciting, and you learn about from books. So yeah, those are my main 2 ones. I'm really happy to not pursue them though.
Why?
I think I'm doing something much more interesting now.
What do you do for a living?
So I work in tech, and I run different startups of innovation and social entrepreneurship.
Yeah, it sounds great. What's the last one you appreciate the most? Is the last project you launched and that you find the most important for you, or any reason?
So I think my recent project, or the current one I'm working on, is I've set up a non-governmental organization to solve period poverty. Period poverty is menstruation poverty. So it's I'm working towards a regulation that will say that every single school in Europe, so meaning girls up until they're 18 years old, they will have free access to pads and tampons for menstruation. So it's one of like the important causes I'm working on, and it's a side project, but I will not stop, until this actually happens and the whole of Europe has access to free products to children. So I think that's an exciting one. That's the one I'm doing because it can be done. It's not. I think it's worth it.
I guess in our childhood we really lack this.
It really makes a big difference in in the girl's feeling of how she feels about herself, how she sees herself. If these things are normalized from an early age.
Did you have some kind of sexual education at your childhood?
Not really. I can't remember having a lecture on this. I remember there being subjects in books where we would cover that, but there was no designed time allocated for this. No.
Could you discuss some stuff like that with your mom or maybe grandma?
Yes, I was very lucky because I grew up with my mom and my grandma, two very strong power women. So we would talk about all the subjects to do with women's health. There was no taboo. But with time, I have learned that not everyone can talk about these things. Some girls will think they're literally dying, like when they have their first period. Most of families don't talk about it. So I feel very privileged and very lucky that I spoke about these things as the most normal thing ever, which it is. So I kind of want to pass this opportunity for other girls to have a safe space where they could learn and talk about these things.
What could you recommend current parents to talk with their children about?
Yeah, so I think it's important to discuss menstruation with girls before their period begins, because it is one of the most stressful times in their life. And if they're not prepared, they can have panic attacks. They really can be psychologically damaged because it is scary. So just covering the subject at home in a calm environment, just describing what it is, showing maybe different products, pads, tampons, different products you could use, just introducing them to this and empowering them, saying, that this is a natural part of life and this is what, allows us to procreate. This is life, menstruation is life. So empowering them, through education on what's going to happen about this. And I think another thing I'd like parents to talk more with their children about is meditation. I think meditation is very important. I think it really clears people's minds. And I think everyone should meditate a little bit more, and we would have a lot less conflict in the world.
It sounds like you had some kind of meditation before.
Yeah, I was reading. I tried to read. I put the chair up, but it was too windy. I bought books with me. I was like, I'm going to enjoy, but the weather didn't agree.
I guess it's quite better than we used to have in northern countries.
Yes, by far.
Now it's Christmas time. Just I don't know. It's for some Christians it's ended. For some it's coming. And did you ask for something from Santa in your childhood? Did you write him? I don't know, some letters.
Of course. Yes, of course you write those. You leave it by the window, and then by the morning it's gone. And it would usually be a letter of why I'm grateful and what I would like.
Do you remember maybe some situation when your dream came true and you really believed it was made by Santa?
100%. It's very clear in my mind. I remember so my mom did a lot of work to make it happen. I requested, at the time they were popular, those big dolls. Big doll. It's plushy, it's soft, but it's still a really big doll. I remember, so we lived in a flat, quite high above, like 6th or 9th floor. It's the evening, it's only my mom and me at home. And then my mom went to her bedroom, and I was in the living room where the Christmas tree was. And my mom started calling me, Aneta, come here, close the door, it's so windy. So I ran from the living room to her bedroom. I was like, Mom, the door's closed, what do you mean? She's like, why is it so windy? So my mom distracted me. And I'm like, well, I don't know why it's windy. I was just chilling. What did I do? Can I go back? And she was like, yeah, okay, go. And I went back into the living room, and there was this massive doll under the Christmas tree. And to me, that was a miracle. I had no idea how this happened. So it was a very, very special day. And years later, my mom told me that she actually hired someone to climb from the roof and jump through the window into our flat, leave the doll, and go back up.
Okay.
So thank you, Mom. That was very special.
And now I really don't want to ask that, but I have to. What age did you realize that there is no Santa?
What do you mean there's no Santa?
No,
of course there is no Santa.
Forget about it. Thank you so much for that experience and for being so open-minded and for being so open and just.
No, my pleasure. My pleasure. It's been nice chatting to you. Thanks. Thank you.
Из детского масштаба.